Playing Assassin's Creed in VR draws me in far more than any of the traditional versions of the AC games. Embodying the characters makes all the difference, and having to physically extend your wrists for the assassin blades to shoot out hasn't gotten old yet. And for me at least, Assassin's Creed Nexus is one of the most complete gaming experiences I've had on Quest for a number of reasons. It's not without flaws of course, but as of right now, this has been one of my favourite games to play in VR full stop. And we're going to start with a presentation. These are some of the most detailed VR graphics I've seen, not only on a standalone device, but VR in general. And trust me, none of the videos you're going to see are going to do the game justice in comparison to what you're going to see in the headset. Every world has life to it, whether it be your character, the people around you just simply having conversations or arguments. The worlds are full of clutter, and the marketplaces are brimming with more NPCs than I've seen in any VR game to memory. There's beautiful buildings, stunning interiors, and it all holds up at a very decent frame rate. Basically, when this all combines, it really helps draw you into the game, and there is also much more going on top of that too. There's items to collect, challenges to unlock, skills to earn by completing each level, and I actually enjoyed the story, which is the most surprising part out of all of this for me. You play an elite hacker who is working undercover for the Brotherhood, but you're also working for Abstergo. Abstergo wants you to collect fragments of the Antikythera mechanism to help combine something called the Eye, which will uncover certain secrets of the past to change the future. You enter memories of 3 assassins at different time periods and locations. You obviously embody the famous Ezio in the Renaissance of Italy, Connor, who is my personal favourite due to having 2 assassin blades to work with and a tomahawk, and you play him in Boston and Newport, and finally you have Cassandra in ancient Greece. And each of these worlds looks vastly different. The NPCs are all dressed differently, as is everyone else in the world. The only thing that doesn't change is the faces of the NPCs. Now, there is a lot of different faces, but eventually you will start seeing the same people over and over again. When playing the game, the characters themselves don't feel too dissimilar, even though they look different and have different weapons, but as I said, Connor is definitely my favourite. Now, in the gameplay video I posted earlier showing the movement, we need to talk about the parkour. This is done almost automatically, and at first I felt like some of the control was taken away, and I do understand VR is a very different beast to flat screen gaming, but after a short time I learned to really love it. You basically run by clicking in the left stick and hold the A button, and you automatically jump around the world at a pretty fast pace and achieving some incredible jumps as long as you're looking in the direction you want to go. It's pretty exciting stuff, and again, it hasn't got boring. You need to climb a lot too, and you can throw yourself quite a distance, and you obviously have the leap of faith, which again doesn't get boring. Now back to the mantling system quickly, it doesn't always work 100%. More than a few times I've suddenly slipped or vaulted in a completely different direction through no fault of my own, or at least it seems, and a couple of times I was catapulted very fast in completely the wrong direction, but luckily this doesn't happen very often. And similar to the normal Assassin's Creed games, the worlds are made for you to move around in. Everything is nicely placed to enable you to move quickly up or across the buildings and find vantage points to either listen into conversations or do the signature stealth attacks. Now, in terms of what you're actually going to be doing in Assassin's Creed, normally it's about gathering intel, and while you're stalking these people to remain hidden, you can hide amongst the people in certain crowds, as well as large hay bales and bushes, assassinations, pickpocketing, or freeing people that are important to the progression of the story, and you can either do this if they're trapped in a cell, for example, by finding a key, or by picking locks, which you'll end up doing quite a lot in the game. And before I forget, there are some MR moments where you'll be doing some puzzling, which is pretty cool. Combat is something I'm still not 100% on. Fighting 1 or 2 guards at once is doable and kind of fun. You can parry, counter, and if their blade glows red, you need to physically either duck or step left and right, and this opens them up to your attack. You can actually bypass some of this system by using bows and arrows, throwing your weapon from a distance, or using the blades attached to your chest. You also unlock smoke bombs, but to be honest, I never ever use these. When you're fighting 1 or 2 guards at once, it's doable, but you can soon become overrun. Trying to fight guards off, while others in the background are shooting at you with rifles, gives you a choice. You can either battle it out or run, and the latter ends up happening most of the time. When the NPCs find a body, they ring a bell to call more guards, and you'll soon find yourself potentially outnumbered. If you plan correctly, you can break the bell to stop this, and take them on one by one or from a distance with, again, arrows, knives, or your main weapon. It's in these moments that the game struggles to keep a decent frame rate too, and it can all become a bit of a mess. Ideally, of course, you should be going full stealth, but if anyone watches this channel for any length of time, you would know I'd rather try and kill everyone than use stealth. But this game makes stealth actually rewarding and entertaining. You can use items in the world to throw to distract guards, or you can actually put your fingers up to your lips, hold the A button, and whistle to get their attention. Now, one other negative for me is the aim assist of everything. All you have to do is point your head in a direction, and your arrows or knives, 9 times out of 10, will not miss. Now, I've seen there are some difficulty options in the menu, so I don't know whether that would have an effect on this, but personally, I would like to try the game without any aim assist, just to add a bit more realism. When it comes to the content, there is 15 missions, and I haven't 100% completed any of them because, as I said earlier, on some levels there is simply so much to find. There's parkour challenges, archery challenges, rift coins to collect, historical constructs that help tell you the story about the current world you're in, and there's silver, gold and platinum constructs as well. And at this point, if I could guesstimate a time that it would take to 100% complete Assassin's Creed Nexus, it would probably be around the 20 to 30 hour mark. The voice acting is of really high quality and the music is good throughout, and the amount of dialogue in this game is absolutely huge. Combine that with the variety of NPCs and the extremely good graphics does explain why this game nearly takes up 18 gigs of storage. Now it's time to get into some negatives. There are at times parts of the map where you'll see low textures, but these are normally further out in the distances. NPCs can be a bit too easy to kill as well. Once you've mastered the weapons and the movement skills at your disposal, they turn into not much more than playthings, but they do vary in health if you get into a combat situation. If you kill a guard in stealth mode, he will let out a scream of pain, but unless a passerby or a guard sees this happening, no one reacts, at least in my gameplay testing. This game is all about line of sight, and once you understand that, then you'll start playing the game in a certain way. There's also a little bit of jank, but I feel it's acceptable jank due to the complexity of what this game is trying to do. Objects sometimes hang in mid-air, NPCs' heads turn in an almost unnatural way while trying to tell you a story during one of the cutscenes, for example, and grabbing anything in the world isn't always perfect. Luckily, one of the unlocks is an automatic gripper, slowing down your descent, so if you're high up and you miss a ledge, you can grab the wall and you will slowly slide down, giving you time to basically relocate where you want to jump to next. But again, you can take a significant amount of fall damage in this, so really dying from falling doesn't happen all too often. The legs on your avatar also have a mind of their own while you're climbing, but to be honest, I would rather have these legs than no legs at all, which is what some games choose. And that is where I am right now with Assassin's Creed Nexus. ACN is trying to up the game for VR, especially with some of the games we've had lately. It not only looks great, it plays great, and has a good story and tons of content, and a game with this quality starts to blur the lines of what is possible on a standalone VR device versus, say, PSVR 2 and PC. It's a top-notch title that does have issues, but when you take it all into consideration what Ubisoft have brought to us, they are completely forgivable. I've had a fantastic time reviewing this, and I give it a buy recommendation. Thank you ever so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more future VR content, and I will see you all on the next video.